Hey guys, and today we're gonna talk again about triathlon preparation, and today we're gonna talk about swimming. So the swimming is the most difficult part of triathlon preparation, especially for those people who never swam before. Actually, swimming, it might be this barrier that people cannot overcome to move forward with a triathlon. Swimming in adult age is very difficult, but it's possible. Adult people usually don't have this good feeling of water. They don't have this good plasticity and elasticity in their joints. So kids usually learn swimming much better. So most competitive swimmers started swimming at age 7, 8 years old or earlier. So if you start triathlon preparation in 35 plus 40 years old, it's gonna be quite challenging for you to learn swimming well, but it's still possible. If you go online and watch most videos on YouTube, you may find out that those videos may not be very helpful. A lot of them for people who can swim already. And I want to make a video for those people who cannot actually swim. So when I decided to get ready for triathlon, I could swim, and I could probably do 150 yards in the pool without flip turns, but I was swimming with head up, which is incorrect technique, and swimming is very technical sport. So if you can run, if you can run or bike, just giving more effort, and you're gonna run faster, right? You cannot swim just giving more. You cannot swim faster just applying more effort. You really need to improve your technique, and it takes weeks, months, and years to improve your technique. And I couldn't do flip turns, and it took a while for me to learn flip turns. And learning flip turns in the pool is very important. It's gonna make your swimming practice much more enjoyable, and it's gonna be more consistent, because when you go into open water, if you don't do flip turn and you basically rest on every 25 yards or 25 meters or even 50 meters, it's not gonna be consistent in the open water. Like when you do flip turn, you have to hold your breath. So that kind of was difficult a little bit for me. And that's why flip turn, like basically after every flip turn, I was gasping for air. It's gonna improve, and it's gonna get better, believe me. If you're thinking about getting ready for a triathlon or just start swimming, I would recommend starting with your breathing technique. If you cannot breathe, if you don't feel comfortable while swimming, your technique will not be good. No matter what you do, if you cannot breathe, if you don't feel calm in the water, you don't feel comfortable, you're gasping for air, you're thrashing around, you do a lot of unnecessary movements, you will not be able to swim. That's why breathing is key number one. And today I want to talk a little bit about breathing and breathing concept. And I just want to talk from my medical knowledge standpoint. pH is a crucial parameter for your body, for your organs and system, and it should be constant at all the time. There are two systems regulating pH: your renal system or your kidneys, and your breathing, your lungs. Those basically main system regulating your pH and making sure your pH is stable. How does it work? So kidneys regulate pH by holding more or excreting bicarb to the urine. Lungs regulate pH by blowing out CO2 from your body. If CO2 in your body goes down, your pH goes up, and this condition called respiratory alkalosis. Respiratory, it's because it comes from your lungs. So basically, when this happens and CO2 goes down, you're breathing faster, and pH goes up, you have respiratory alkalosis. Your kidneys try to compensate alkaline environment in your body and excrete more bicarb from your body. Kidney excrete more bicarb in the urine, and your blood becomes more acid, trying to compensate high pH created by your lungs. Now, why this is important? If you don't breathe frequently enough, then you accumulate more CO2 in your body and your pH goes down. And this condition called respiratory acidosis. Now you have more acid in your body and kidneys trying to compensate and keep more bicarb in your body. Now, if you're breathing too fast and you're blowing out too much CO2, your pH goes up. It creates, as we discussed before, respiratory alkalosis. And what it does to your body, the hemoglobin, it's basically a protein that's carrying oxygen to the tissue and CO2 from the tissue. If pH goes too high, hemoglobin holds oxygen too tight and it does not allow the tissue to get this oxygen. If your hemoglobin holds oxygen too tight, your tissue, your heart, your lungs, your kidneys, your brain don't get enough oxygen because hemoglobin holds it too tight and don't give it to the tissue. So that may create a situation even though you're breathing fast, but your tissue are not getting oxygen and actually oxygen deprived. That happens, for example, with different types of anxiety. When people hyperventilate, they panic and they breathe too fast, they blow out lots of CO2, their pH goes up and the hemoglobin does not give oxygen to tissue. Let's talk about different situation. If you not ventilate your lungs enough. So basically the amount of CO2 in your body depends on how do you ventilate your lungs, how deep and how fast you breathe. That's the only thing that change the amount of CO2 in your body. Let's review a little bit different situation when you don't ventilate your lungs enough and you accumulate too much CO2. So if you accumulate too much CO2, your pH goes down and it's called respiratory acidosis. It can be compensated if kidney have enough power to compensate it, but if you accumulate too much CO2, it becomes decompensated and your blood becomes too acidic. What happens with exercise, you also accumulate some lactic acid and pH goes down even faster. So when this happens, it may cause major confusion or euphoria. It may cause like changing mental status and it can be a little bit dangerous when you're swimming. Almost never happen when you're running or if you're biking because your body regulates amount of CO2 automatically. Your body has sensors of how much CO2 it has and what is your pH in the body. And according to those sensors, your body regulates your breathing, your kidney function, your heart rate automatically. But this does not happen with swimming. With swimming, you pretty much regulate your breathing enough to blow out CO2. At the same time, you should not hyperventilate because even though you will feel lightheaded and you may feel you need more oxygen, but in fact your body blowing out too much CO2 and your hemoglobin does not give oxygen to the tissue, and that's why you can even pass out, which may be dangerous in the water. So that's kind of theory about swimming, and let's talk a little bit about practice. So in practice, I would suggest you to start with very basic drills. Okay guys, and today me and Robert will show you 3 the best, in our opinion, drills to be a swimmer. Those drills are good for those people who cannot swim at all, for first time swimmers or people who want to learn how to swim. Right, Robert?
What I think one of the most important drills is zipper. And I will be showing you how you do zipper. First, you need to focus on bringing your hand somewhere over here to your armpit and then stroking. So right now I'm catching the water right here, trying to get in a good position to try to pull the water backwards. And then it's like I'm zipping up a coat that's on the side of me. You zip it up and then you put it back into a streamline.
Okay guys, what I'm thinking is important is to set up your breathing first. So your breathing is most important to start swimming. So when you stop panicking, that is going to be your first step to swim better or start swimming. So one of the good drill, from my opinion, is sinking down drill. So basically what you do, you just exhale all air and you sink down, you go to the bottom of the pool and try to stay there. So this drill will eliminate feeling of panic. Basically, when you just go to the pool and relax, and that's what you need to do. When you're swimming, you need to be relaxed. That's the key. If you start panicking, that's the worst thing you can do. If you start panicking, you do too many unnecessary movements, you waste a lot of oxygen. And that's the whole concept of swimming efficiently. You have to use your oxygen very, very efficient, and therefore you should do only absolutely necessary movements. If you do unnecessary movements in the water, you will run out of oxygen very fast. Swimming is a very technical sport, therefore giving more effort is not gonna help you to swim faster for long distances. When we talk about triathlon, we talk about swimming at least 1 mile. Let's not talk about sprint, but if we talk about Olympic, half Ironman, you need to swim at least 1 mile in open water. And open water can be also intimidating environment. That's why you really need to be calm. So when you stay calm, you control your breathing, you control your body movement. That's gonna help a lot. And what you need to work on, suppressing panic response. When you just start doing it, you will feel kind of panic response, like you want to go up and gasp for the air, but that's going to improve. And you will feel great after doing it few times. You will be able to go to the bottom of the pool and not feel that you need air. Obviously, you should be reasonable, and you should have someone with you or lifeguard in the pool who is going to be watching you. And another great drill is called blowing bubbles. So basically, whole idea with swimming, as soon as your head goes down, you start blowing bubbles. You exhale from the nose, and just before you turn your head to breathe, you exhale all air before you grab fresh air. You grab fresh air, your head goes down. As soon as your head goes down, you start blowing bubbles. You exhale, you're blowing out CO2. You don't just want the CO2 to stay in your body because it's going to drop your pH. You will have some lactic acid accumulation while swimming. It's going to drop your pH even more, and you will feel very tired. You will not be able to swim. So that's why you want to blow out CO2, turn for fresh air, blow out, turn for fresh air. As soon as your head goes to the water, you blow bubbles. That's a key. So basically, how does it work? You go to the shallow end of the pool and you just put your hands on the deck. You put your hands on the deck, and then you put your head into the water and start blowing bubbles. And just try to be calm. Just blow bubbles, blow bubbles, blow bubbles. As soon as you feel you need to breathe, You just raise your head and breathe and take a breath. Then you put your head into the water and blow bubbles, blow bubbles, blow bubbles, and then raise your head and take a breath again. When you start feeling comfortable with this drill, I want you to start kicking very gently. Just kick very gently. Don't kick too much. The main idea to bring your legs down, bring your legs up. Once your leg up and you kicking comfortably, you will work on breathing technique. So let me show you kicking drill. So basically the beginning is the same. You put your head under the water and start doing bubbles like that. Then you start kicking very gently. And then stop and take a deep breath. When you kick, try to keep your legs and feet together and keep them narrow. When you start feeling comfortable with this drill, I want you to move this hand like that and take a breath. So do it like that. Try to keep one of your goggles into the water. If you improve your breathing while swimming, it's gonna help you a lot. A lot of people can say, you just need to coach, and you need to hire a coach or join some master swimming club, but it's not always possible for everyone. A lot of people work full time and may just have 1 hour to swim per day. So if you have this opportunity to hire a coach, it's great. If you don't and you want to learn to swim, you still can do it by yourself. So you just need to be persistent and put some effort. If you have this opportunity to hire a coach, you have enough money, enough time, great. But if you want to get ready for a triathlon, I would probably suggest to hire a coach who has some experience with teaching triathlon swimming, because it's a little bit different type of swimming, and the major differences in between triathlon swimming and regular pool swimming. My son is competitive swimmer, and he swims 100 yards. He swim 1 or 3. If you swim 1 minute and 3 seconds during a triathlon, you're probably gonna be in top 1-2 percentile. I mean, he swims long distance. He goes with pace 1:15. That's a great pace for triathlon. Average triathlon swimmer swims 2 minutes per 100 meters pace. And if you swim 1:30, 1:40, you're gonna be in top 10 coming out of the water. Keep training, you're gonna be there. And I remember when I was able to swim my first K, I was really happy. My first, I think, pace was probably about 2:30, 2:40 per 100. But when you just start swimming, don't worry about your pace. Pace will come later. Just be consistent, be persistent, and do your best and work on your technique as much as you can.